Today we're going to read part of one of my favourite stories from the Old Testament. It's found in 1 Samuel chapter 3 and it's verses 8 to 10. And the Lord called Samuel again the third time, and he arose and went to Eli and said, Here am I, for thou didst call me. And Eli perceived that the Lord had called the child. Therefore Eli said unto Samuel, Go, lie down. And it shall be, if he call thee, that thou shalt say, Speak, Lord, for thy servant heareth. So Samuel went and lay down in his place. And the Lord came and stood and called as at other times, Samuel, Samuel. Then Samuel answered, Speak, for thy servant heareth. I'm sure that at some time or other you've had an experience something like this. Sitting in a room with a crowd of people deep in conversation when a young mother gets up from her chair to go to attend to her crying baby. You've heard no sound, nor is anyone else in the room, but the mother, attuned to the voice of their child, has heard and has quickly responded. It's true in other areas of life. There are certain voices, certain sounds that we are attuned to. Earlier in this chapter, we are told that Samuel did not yet know the Lord, neither was the word of the Lord yet revealed unto him. That's in verse 7. I love that word yet repeated twice in that sentence. Sometimes I hear Christians speaking about their children, maybe adult children, and they tell me that their children are not saved. I like to try and encourage them with this word yet. They are not yet saved. It's an encouragement to keep praying for them. In chapter 1 we read about Hannah, and when she said, For this child I prayed, and the Lord hath given me my petition which I asked of him. Verse 27. I love this story because the Lord first spoke to me when I was a child. And the story highlights the interest that God has in children. It was the Lord Jesus who said, Suffer little children to come unto me and forbid them not. Luke 18 verse 16. And he was reflecting the desire for their blessing that is in his Father's heart. Now it was on account of the fact that Samuel did not yet know the Lord that his ear was not attuned to the voice of the Lord. 3 times he called, and 3 times Samuel ran to Eli, until finally Eli perceived that the Lord had called the child. Verse 8. It was then that Samuel listened with a keener ear and with a desire to hear what the Lord would say. Graciously the Lord came and stood and called as at other times. Verse 10. I love to hear Samuel's response to the Lord. Speak, for thy servant heareth. Verse 10. An open ear and a willing heart is possibly what I need more than anything else. Often in life we might be hoping that the Lord will speak to us, perhaps in some dramatic way, but we surround ourselves with noise, activity and bustle in such a way that the Lord's voice cannot be heard. The more pressing issue might be whether we're willing to have quiet times in our lives when we are attuned to his voice and able to hear it. Speak, Lord, in the stillness while I wait on thee. Hushed my heart to listen in expectancy.